Hey guys, happy Monday to you. I just wanted to pass a couple more updates on the additions to the safety program here. And I had heard over, I guess, end of last week that the reason that these speeding violations are starting to stack up on us is for two reasons. The FMCSA, via the DOT, and then obviously local, state and local law enforcement, speeding is their number one priority. That's what they're cracking down on the most. We just had another speeding violation over the weekend. I think it was a warning, but one thing you need to understand is that, and I didn't know this either, but a warning is actually worse than a violation. It still counts against us the same way a violation would, but I can't challenge a warning. So if it's a violation and we think maybe I could challenge, you could challenge the validity of that violation, I can go on there and there's a mechanism for me to go on and challenge some of this stuff. I can't do that with warnings. So in that regard, a warning's worse than a violation. So just keep that in mind. They are cracking down on speeding. We just had another 6 to 10 over the weekend, and we got to stop. You guys got to work with me on this, or we're going to turn the trucks down. Okay? And so I just wanted to recap the last year with you, and tell you where these violations have happened. And so the most recent one. I guess I don't remember what state that was in over the weekend, but speeding 6 to 10, and then a result of that speeding was more violations that could have been avoided. The stop could have been avoided entirely. So, and you'll see as I read through some of these that's the case with all of them. So it's not any one driver. If it was one driver that was getting all these violations, the answer would be pretty simple. But it's not. There's a different name associated with each one of these violations. So I'm just going to read through the last year quick. Okay, the most recent was in Minnesota. The driver was doing 15 miles an hour over the speed limit. Okay, and I need you guys to understand that I'm not coming at you for this. I'm highlighting a problem with, or I should say, a trend in the way that we collectively, as a group of drivers, are driving. And so, is it a combination of wrong place, wrong time? The state patrol was just trying to write somebody a ticket. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it counts against us just the same as if it's 100% legitimate or not. So just be aware of that. I know things happen, but we got to reverse this trend. We have to go in the other direction. Okay, and so that was in Minnesota. The one I was just talking to you about, speeding 15 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, over the posted speed limit. That resulted in the driver being put out of service because they had false report of driver's record of duty status, and driving beyond the 14-hour duty period. So here we go again. Things that are just stupid violations for no reason that are now counting against us. That one was worth 17 points. It counts against our score, and that's what the insurance company looks at when it's time for renewal, and it's almost time for renewal. So again, this is not to highlight anybody. I'm not even using anyone's names, but we have to be better. Okay, the next one. Let's see here. Couple of them here in February. One was in Wisconsin. The other was in Indiana. In Indiana, the driver was cited for 6 to 10 miles over the speed limit. And then we get pulled over for speeding. Okay, let's do the inspection. So the portable ELD was not mounted in a fixed position and visible to the driver. That's a violation that's on our record now, which there's no good reason for that, okay? And so if we keep going here, now we have a lane restriction violation. The driver failed to manually enter the trailer number. The driver failed to manually add shipping document number. So that's all stuff totally could have been avoided, and it wasn't. And it's going to be on our record here for a little while now, a couple of years or so. So pay attention to that stuff. The next one was in Minnesota also. So if you heard, that's 2 Minnesota so far, okay? So this one is 11 to 14 miles over the posted speed limit. That one, they did the inspection and nothing else came about. So everything else was tight, but guys, 11 to 14 miles an hour over, that cost us 7 points, okay? And you'll hear me talk about these points. The only reason that's important is because the insurance company looks at our CSA score, and that's a large part of what they use, along with these driver, citations, violations, warnings, whatever, to determine how much we need to pay for insurance. So the next one was a trailer tire, I think. We got put out of service. That's another 10 points because the tire was flat and or audible leak. That was back in December in Nebraska. So, there's not any, you'll see as I read off some of these states here, there's not any really, one place that this is happening or one driver, like I said, that it's happening. It's all over the place. So the next one, another 6 to 10, these next 3, I should say, 6 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Iowa, Texas, California, okay? The Iowa was November 28th, and the, let's see here, Texas was August 25th, California was July 27th. So we've only repeated the same state once so far, and that was Minnesota. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, Indiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Texas, California, Illinois, Ohio are the last 2. So, and then Ohio, the last 2, Illinois and Ohio, those are 6 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit also, okay? So this trend, we got to get it going the other way, okay? These things are really going to kill us when it comes time to renew our insurance policy. And so I wish the world wasn't structured in a way where we kind of have to do what the insurance company wants us to do, but that's the world we live in, unfortunately. And so, I do my part to negotiate everything we can to keep the rates down and keep everything headed in our favor. But I don't have a leg to stand on when our track record looks like this. So I'm asking you again to continue to improve. And here's why I say continue to improve is because since maybe the first video that I talked about reversing this trend, you see over here, the last one, we were at a 65 last week whenever I sent that video out. We're at a 70 as of this morning. Okay, we're at a 70 already. So we increased 5 points in a week. So thank you guys for doing that and doing your part to increase the fleet score. Remember, if we can increase the fleet score to 95 by December 31st, $500 bonus. So I just wanted to highlight the 5 safest drivers of the week so far. Number 1 is George with a 97. Number 2 is Tom R with a 92. Number 3 is Ray with a 91. Number 4 is Bruce with a 90. Number 5 is James Miller with an 89. So thank you guys. Keep up the good work. This top 5 here fluctuates from time to time, but I'll keep you posted on how we're progressing and how you're progressing as well. I talked about the fleet score already, so I just wanted to go through some of the things that you're graded on and how they're weighted. So number 1 is a crash and collision risk. Obviously that has to do with following distance. And then number 2 is harsh driving. So right now, there's a 5.1 points that are being held against us. And this is in Samsara, not FMCSA or anything like that. Just on how we collectively as a fleet are being graded. We're losing 5.1 points for harsh driving. So that has harsh braking and harsh accelerations, but those are very low. Those are weighted very low. Okay, the thing that's weighted moderately is harsh turns. Okay, there's no reason to take a turn too fast, so I have that one weighted higher than the other two. I understand sometimes you have to get on the accelerator, so it's a thing that's weighted very low. And so the other one is the next one is traffic signs and signals. We're losing 0.3 points right now as a result of a rolling stop. That must have happened last week. So just be aware. I'm just saying all these things so you're aware of them. Speeding, no surprise, is the largest one, 24.2 points that are being held against us. So that's obviously where we have the most room to improve. And so keep your speed down. I think I have it set. It won't even register light speeding. Okay, that's 3 miles an hour to 6 miles an hour. It's only going to register 6 miles an hour or better for the posted speed limit. And I get sometimes it doesn't pick up on a new speed limit after a construction zone or whatever. Maybe the speed limit changed. So I'm tracking all that. But we also have to have a starting point on where all this starts, okay? Because we have to do something to get the trend going the other way. So keep working with me on that. Just keep your speed down, okay? If we have to go the speed limit until the FMCSA decides that it's okay to go 5 over again, then that might be what we have to do. So they determine what their initiatives are for the year, and this year it's speeding, and so that's why we've had this uptick. And I would imagine collectively our behaviors have not probably changed all that much. It's just a matter of getting caught because they're looking harder. So it doesn't mean you should go 15 miles an hour over. I don't think there's any ever a reason for that. But I do understand, given certain situations, you have to keep up with the flow of traffic also, and I'm taking all that into consideration. Maybe not in a commercial aspect, but there's very few parts of the country that I haven't driven through from when I was on active duty. So I know, for example, the I-5 in California, I know that everybody does 75 in a 55. I'm tracking on that. And I probably was too when I was stationed out there. So I get it. I'm willing to, meet you halfway on a lot of this stuff, but you got to meet me halfway too. So keep your speed down. Sorry for the long video again. And if you have any questions about this, let me know. Thanks, guys.